by heaven, that thou art fair is most infallible. True, that thou art beauteous, or truth itself, that thou art lovely. More fairer than fair, or beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself, have commiseration on thy heroical vassal. The magnanimous and most illustrate King Cophetua set eye upon the pernicious and indubitate beggar Xenophon, and he it was that might rightly say, Veni, vidi, vici, which to anathenize in the vulgar, base and obscure vulgar, videolicit. He came, saw, and overcame. Well, he came 1, saw 2, overcame 3. Well, who came? Well, the king. And why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. Or to whom came he? To the beggar. And what saw he? The beggar. Who overcame he? The beggar. Well, the conclusion is victory on whose side? The king's. Well, the captive is enriched on whose side? The beggar's. The catastrophe is a nuptial. On whose side? The king's? No. On both in one, or one in both. I am the king. For so stands the comparison. Well, thou, the beggar. For so witnesseth thy lowliness. Shall I command thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Or shall I entreat thy love? I will. What shalt thou exchange for rags? Robes? For tittles, titles? For thyself, me. Thus, expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy every part. Thine, in the dearest design of industry, Don Adriano di Armado. Thus dost thou hear the Nemean lion roar against thee, thou lamb that standest as his prey. Submissive fall his princely feet before, and he from forage will incline to play. But if thou strive, poor soul, what art thou then? Food for his rage, repasture for his den.
Great Deputy, the Welkin's vicegerent and sole dominator of Navarre, my soul's earth's god and body's fostering patron. So it is. Besigned with sable-coloured melancholy, I did commend the black oppressing humour to the most wholesome physic of thy health-giving air, and, as I am a gentleman, betook myself to walk. The time when, about the 6th hour, when beasts most graze, birds best peck, and men sit down to that nourishment which is called supper. So much for the time when. Now for the ground which I mean I walked upon. It is yclept thy park. Then for the place where I mean I did encounter that obscene and preposterous event that draweth from my snow-white pen the ebon-coloured ink which here thou viewest, beholdst, surveyest, or seest. But to the place where it standeth north-east, and by east from the west corner of thy curious knotted garden, there did I see that low-spirited swain, base minnow of thy mirth, that unlettered, small-knowing soul, that shallow vassal, which, as I remember, high costard, sorted and consorted, contrary to thy established proclaimed edict and continent canon, which but with this I passion to say wherewith, with a child of our grandmother Eve, a female, or, for thy more sweet understanding, a woman. Him I, as my ever-esteemed duty pricks me on, have sent to thee, to receive the meed of punishment by thy sweet grace's officer, Anthony Dull, a man of good repute, carriage, bearing, and estimation. For Jaquinetta, so is the weaker vessel called, which I apprehended with the aforesaid swain. I keep her as a vessel of the law's fury, and shall at the very least of thy sweet notice bring her to trial. Thine, in all compliments of devoted and heart-burning heat of duty, Don Adriano de Armada.
Regarding the steps taken by Mr. Dackers and Mr. Ames to deal with plague-infected houses at Waltham Cross, they have caused the doors to be shut up, and themselves to give them relief until the contribution determined, and then they are to be repaid again, which will be one Sunday after service. He does not doubt but that his lordship will bear the greatest burden. They have appointed a watch to continue day and night, to abridge such Londoners as would come thither, and to see that they keep good order, and tarry in their houses which are infected. There is 2 appointed to watch at the lawn end, which comes from the highway to your lordship's house, only to keep away rogues which we are very much troubled with. There doth not resort so few as 20 in a day most commonly. There is 1 house more infected since Humphrey Flint was with your lordship, and 3 there and sick at this instant. The Lord be merciful to them. Out of those other 4 houses hath died 1 in every 4. He hopes that the measures already taken will help to prevent the plague from intensifying. All the members of his lordship's household are in good health. He has received £400 brought by Mr. Ames from Brigstock Theobalds this 15th of July, 1603.
Mine own dear lord, your leave is now granted. But with such ado as I never knew the like, it is minced and sauced as by a letter written unto you, which shall accompany it, from my Lord Admiral, and Mr. Secretary will appear more at large. In few words, you had not come over at all, if Mr. Secretary had not assured upon his honour that you were very ill, and that there you could have no remedy to prevent the danger of your sickness. I was examined about it, and protested upon my duty and allegiance to the Queen that I understood too well, both by your own letters and the report of all that came from Flushing, that you were very ill, and that it might cost you your life if this winter you did not speedily take great care of your health, which could not be done at Flushing. Mr. Secretary desired the Queen to call my Lord of Rutland unto her, who lately had seen you. Her Majesty did so, and he assured upon his faith and honour that he left you ill, and not well able to stir out of your chamber. These reasons induced the Queen to grant it, and within 2 or 3 days it will be signed and sent unto you. Her Majesty told them that nothing could have moved her to have given you leave to come away from your charge but your sickness. But if she could find that it was but a device to abuse her, she would take it very ill at their hands. and you should suffer for it. But if you were ill indeed.
My good sweet mouse, I commend me heartily to you, and to my father, my mother, and my sister Bess, hoping in God, though there be plague about you, yet by his mercy it escape your house, which by the grace of God it shall. Therefore use this course. Keep the house fair and clean, which I know you will, and every evening throw water before your door and in your backyard, and have in your windows good stores of rue and herb of grace, and with all the grace of God which must be obtained by prayers, and so doing, no doubt, but the Lord will mercifully defend you. Now, good mouse, I have no news to send you, but this, that we have all our health, for which the Lord be praised. I received your letter at Bristol by Richard, for the which I thank you. I have sent you by the bearer Thomas Pope's kinsman my white waistcoat, because it is a trouble to me to carry it. Receive it with this letter, and lay it up for me till I come. If you send me any more letters, send to me by the carriers of Shrewsbury, or to York, to be kept till my Lord Strange's players come. And thus, sweetheart, with my hearty commendations to all our friends, I cease from Bristol this Wednesday, after St. James' Day, being ready to begin the play of Harry of Cornwall. Mouse, do my hearty mind to Mr. Briggs, his wife, and all his household, and to my sister Phyllis, your loving husband, E. Allen. Mouse, you send me no news of any things. You should send me of your domestical matters, such things as happens at home, as how your distilled water proves, or this, or that, or anything what you will. And Jug, I pray you let my orange tawny stockings of wool be dyed a very good black against I come home, to wear in the winter. You sent me not word of my garden, but next time you will. But remember this in any case, that all that bed which was parsley, in the month of September you sow it with spinach, for then is the time. I would do it myself, but we shall not come home till All Hallows Tide. And so, sweet mouse, farewell, and brook our long journey with patience.
Right Honourable Mr. Leverous delivered me your honour's letter, which you sent in a packet to my Lord Salisbury, dated on Michaelmas Day. According to your honour's commandment, I presently repaired it to Mr. Andrew Bright, and took him along with me to survey your honour's lodging within the garden. And these alterations I find done since your lordship's departure. In your lordship's own bedchamber, your narrow chimney is made a foot broader, the mantel and jambs very handsome, of freestone with a half pace, the tunnel made 3 or 4 yards high above the leads to carry the smoke away without check, both the doors cut in the middle of a convenient height, your windows to lean upon boarded, and order given to new mat it. Your dining room is boarded up to the top. The dark dungeon that opens to King Street is now made a very convenient place for servants to attend in, for it hath a chimney, and light enough, and now to be plastered and sealed, and either to be boarded or brick underfoot to take away the damp. The sickness so increases at London that there is a purpose to remove the term out of the city. Some think at Winchester, and so to have the Parliament there. Some say at St. Albans, Moreland did. If God cease not his anger, men know not what to do or say. The city itself fears much a winter plague. Your 2 worthy daughters are for the most part in Hampton Court with the Queen, from whom they receive much grace. They are very well. But I must deal truly with your honour. I cannot get them to take pen in hand to write. They still promise to do it, and I ever assure them that I will see what they write sent in post-haste to your honour or to my lady. Today my Lady Montgomery and my Lady Roth are gone from durance to Hampton Court. The one will stay there, the other will return to her own house within 2 or 3 days. My Lord of Salisbury is at Whitehall very well, and long may he be well, for the good of our state. I most humbly take my leave, and rest your honours most bounden to do you all service. Roland White, Royston, 8th of October, 1606.
My lord, I did think this bearer would have gone sooner, which made me make ready this enclosed letter 4 days ago. Since that time I have had the good fortune to receive 2 letters from you. The first came when I was so sick that I could not speak to Mr. Davy who brought it. But the joy which I took in receiving news from you did deliver me out of a fever which held 3 hours without intermission of any great extremity. But now I thank my God I am free from it. But so weakened that I am unable to come off my bed. None that sees me now would believe I were with child, for I am less than I was 2 months ago. Your son, Robin, is better than ever he was. I fear I may not receive so great comfort from my other little one unless I quickly mend. I will for now take my leave, being unable to endure long writing. But by the next messenger I hope to write you word of me amendment. From Barn Elms, 11th August, 1599.
On a day. Alack, the day. Love, whose month is ever May. Spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. Through the velvet leaves, the wind, all unseen, can passage find. That the lover, sick to death, wish himself the heaven's breath. Ere, quoth he, thy cheeks may blow, ere would I might triumph so. But, alack, my hand is sworn, ne'er to pluck thee from thy thorn. Vow, alack, for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pluck. Ah, sweet. This will I send. And something else more plain, that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the King Byron and Longaville be lovers too? Ill to example ill would from my forehead wipe a perjured note. For none offend when all alike do dote.
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not to those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye-beams, when their fresh rays have smote the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows. Nor shines the silver moon one half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep. No drop but as a coach doth carry thee, so ridest thou triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself, then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still make me weep. O Queen of Queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. How shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet leaves, shade folly.
Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, gainst whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart in this false perjury? Vows against thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove, thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vows are earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace gained cures all disgrace in me. Thou's are but breath, and breath a vapour is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth dost shine, exhalest this vapour vow, in thee it is. If broken then, it is no fault of mine. If broke by me, what fool is not so wise to lose an oath to win a paradise?
To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous Lady Rosalind. If love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Ah, faith could never hold if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Study his bias leaves, and makes his book thine eyes, where all those pleasures live that art would comprehend. If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue that well can thee commend. All ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that I thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice his dreadful thunder, which not to anger bent is music and sweet fire. Celestial though thou art, O pardon love this wrong, that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly tongue. Your ladyship's in all desired employment. To the celestial, and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. Oh, most best believe it. Adieu, thine evermore most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet.
Jove knows I love. But who? Lips do not move, no man must know. No man must know. What follows? The number's altered. No man must know. If this should be thee, Malvolio, I may command where I adore, but silence like a Lucrece knife with bloodless stroke my heart doth gore. M-O-A-I doth sway my life. M-O-A-I doth sway my life. Nay, but first let me see. I may command where I adore. Why, she may command me. I serve her. She is my lady. Why, this is evident to any formal capacity. There is no obstruction in this. And the end. What should that alphabetical position portend? If I could make that resemble something in me. Softly. M-O-A-I. M! Malvolio, M! Why, that begins my name. M. But then there is no consonancy in the sequel. That suffers under probation. A should follow, but O does, and then I comes behind. M-O-A-I. This simulation is not as the former. And yet, to crush this a little, it would bow to me, for every one of these letters are in my name. Soft. Here follows prose. If this fall into thy hand, revolve. In my stars I am above thee, but be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Thy fates open their hands. Let thy blood and spirit embrace them, and to inure thyself to what thou art to be, cast thy humble slough, and appear fresh. Be opposite with a kinsman, surly with servants. Let thy tongue tang arguments of state. Put thyself into the trick of singularity. She thus advises thee, that sighs for thee. Remember who commended thy yellow stockings, and wished to see thee ever cross-gartered. Go to. Thou art made, if thou desirest to be so. If not, let me see thee a steward still, the fellow of servants, and not worthy to touch fortune's fingers. Farewell. She that would not alter services with thee, the fortunate unhappy. Daylight and champagne discovers not more. This is open. I will be proud. I will read politic authors. I will baffle Sir Toby. I will wash off gross acquaintance. I will be point devise the very man. I do not now fool myself to let imagination jade me, for every reason excites to this, that my lady loves me. She did commend my yellow stockings of late. She did praise my leg being cross-gartered. And in this she manifests herself my love. And with a kind of injunction drives me to these habits of her liking. I thank the stars, I am happy. I will be strange. Stout, yellow stockings and cross-gartered, even with the swiftness of putting on. Jove and my stars be praised, here is yet a postscript. Thou canst not choose but know who I am. If thou entertainst my love, let it appear in thy smiling. Thy smiles become thee well. Therefore in my presence still smile, dear my sweet, I prithee. Jove, I will smile. I will do everything that thou wilt have me.
My fair Tonkin, I have nothing to say, but how doth thou? And I hope to see thee well shortly. As thou lovest me, be exceeding careful coming into any shops, for there is the greatest danger. I have since thy going learned and approved medicine for the plague, if used in time. Take dragon water, a good draught, and mingle therewith so much treacle or metrodote as an ordinary walnut, and add to this so much redding pounded as a large hazelnut. Stir all this together and drink it, if you do but so little suspect yourself. I know thou wilt laugh to hear me preach physic so long beforehand, but consider medicine comes too late when the disease is past cure. Oh, my sweet, be not without something to take in an instant. In good faith, I know this hath been tried by many. If you could endure to take 3 or 4 leaves of rue in the morning, and put into some raisin of the sun, you would find with God's help it a good preservative against infection. Good Tompkin, remember, we are bound in conscience to preserve life for as long as possible, for though God's power can work miracles, we cannot build on because he can, he will. For then he would not say he made herbs for the use of man. I much fear Brenwyn's liberty may breed danger. I can say no more, being in extreme haste, but I will be a conscious officer in your absence. And even so, God in heaven preserve thy health for as long as I live, and grow thy love for me, as I have reason to love thee no less than I do now, which is yet as my own soul. Thine, Maria Thin. Postscript. Here is less than 1/2 an iota of business to acquaint you withal.
Good Mr. Thin, I have received your kind letter by Sendrit, for which I think myself much beholden unto you for it, and for the knives, and for my petticoat, hose, and pomegranates, and the farthingale, all which I received the last week, with a letter from my cousin Halliwell, which was opened afore it came to my hand, and so I pray you tell him. My love to yourself is such, not to be broken by knives or anything else whilst I live, yet much to be increased by your unfeigned performances, which I have good hope of. And I trust your troubles will turn all for the best and to both our comforts. Although the strain be great at present, yet
but I hope our meetings shall be joyful to us both. And therefore, my good husband, I beseech you not to care for anything to hurt yourself, but to make much of yourself for my good and for your children's comforts. And so, praying God to send you well to come hither, I take my leave. From Corse Castle, the 30th of May, your loving wife, forever, Joan Finn. Good, Mr. Thin. If you were but half so willing to come as I am desirous to see you, or your stay should not be long after the term which, well, now I hope will end very shortly. Dol is much better than she was, but not yet well. Nor, I fear, will not be yet. Unless, well, you get some better help than is here to be had. I fear the worst, but I hope the best. At your coming, you shall know more. In the meantime, I pray God send you good success in all your suits. The Sheriff of Montgomeryshire hath the process delivered unto him for the sending up of Oliver Lloyd. The Sheriff had the process on Monday last, being the 15th of June. The cambric thread, silver and spangles with the silver case which you sent for your daughter's gowns I have received, for which I thank you. Mr. Heneage was here with me to know your pleasure and whether I had heard anything from you. But seeing I did not, he will stay your pleasure till you're coming home. George Fitchett desires you to buy some lute strings and copper some wires for the virginals. And even so, in haste, with my best love to your good self, I end. From Corse Castle, the 18th of June. Your ever loving wife, Joan Thin. Good, Mr. Thin. The best news that I can send you of from here is the recovery of your two daughters, which I praise God is now reasonable well. And Dol's fits have left her, which I am not a little glad of. But for my own, I assure you it was not worse these many days. God send you your health and a speedy coming into these parts, or else, wheresoever you are, I protest I will come unto you wheresoever it be. Now my corn is all done, and so is all things else here. And therefore I pray you, take some good course to settle this, or else to stay here yourself, which I wish above all other joys. Now, if it would please God but once to put into your heart to have a care of them who desires your good more than my own life. I hope you have received my other letters and the boxes. I end in haste with my kind salute unto your good self, and to my dear sister Nivet, and my good brother, with my sister Broughton, whose good success I wish in her suit. From Course Castle, the 28th of April. Your ever-loving wife, Joan Finn.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. While as I stood, wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail, King, that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightest not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell.
My best beloved Tomkin, and my best little Sirrah, know that I have not, nor will not forget how you made my modest blood flush into my cheeks at your last letter. Thou threatened sound payment, and I sound repayment, so as when we meet there will be pay and repay, which will pass and repass. Thou knowest my mind, though dost not understand me. Well, as laying on side my high colour, know with sober sadness that I am at Longleat, ready and unready to receive you, and will attend your coming here. Oh, remember that your last day's journey will be the longer by 5 or 6 miles, so determine accordingly. Your horse is taken up. I will take thee up when thou comest home, for staying so long from me. Even so, being as melancholy as a red herring, and as mad as a pilchard, and as proud as a piece of Aragon bling, I salute thy best beloved self with the return of thine own vows and wishes from thy letter. And so, once more forever well, my best and sweetest Tomkin, and many thousand more than these million to thy ever kind and wanton letters. Thine and only thine, Maria Finn.
I think you take unkindly that all this time I have never written unto you, but I would not have you to think that I have the plague, nor any part of it. For then be you sure I would not write nor presume to write, for if it please God of his mercy and goodness to me to hold out with my life this grievous time, I will never be in servitude to any. Although, I must confess, I have a most honourable good lord and lady to my master and mistress. For here is nothing but lamentations and cryings of children for their fathers and their mothers all night long, in the streets. Mr. Silas the barber, his house is infected of the plague, and are shut up, he and his wife and their tenant Bat. For Robert, his man, is dead. My lord of Rutland's house is shut up. Bedford House there is too dead out of it. Mr. Roger Crook, he left a maid to keep his house, and she is sick of the plague in it, but is like to recover. As for Crook, he came not at it. Andrew Beatty is shut up and diverse about us, which I cannot name to you. A shoemaker's house next to the Holy Lamb, and both sides the Black Bull Gate. From our grievous infection of the plague at London, Salisbury House, this 10th of August, 1625. Postscript. There died of all diseases this week, 4,855. Where of the plague, 4,115. Parishes clear without the plague, 10. Parishes infected, 112. Christened this week, 122.
We have received your letters full of love. Your favours, the ambassadors of love. And in our maiden council, rated them at courtship, pleasant jest and courtesy, as bombast and as lining to the time. But more devout than this we have not been, and therefore met your loves in their own fashion, like a merriment. If for my love, as there is no such cause, you will do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage, remote from all the pleasures of the world. There stay until the 12 celestial signs have brought about the annual reckoning. If this austere and sociable life change not your offer made in heat of blood, if frosts and fasts, hard lodging and thin weeds nip not the gaudy blossoms of your love, but that it bear this trial and last love, then at the expiration of the year come challenge me. Come challenge me by these deserts, and by this virgin palm now kissing thine, I will be thine. Until that instant, shut my woeful self up in a mourning house, raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death. If this thou do deny, let our hands part. Neither is entitled to the other's heart.